Thank you for joining me on this Saturday. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. I want to get to this. It's called Invest 95. That's just kind of a fancy term for an area the National Hurricane Center is investigating. So they shorten that in Invest and they give it a label 95. Of course, bubbling up a little bit further in the Eastern Caribbean. Now, some of the good news is, I love to pass along some of the good news is, we caught a few breaks in the action yesterday in parts of Trinidad and Tobago. Most of this is just offshore of my friends in the ABC Islands. So we're not going to get a ton. Aruba, Curacao, in Bonaire, although some spots actually need some rain, but of course we don't need any flooding rain in spots. So it's this developing area that should be marching generally to the west, but initially a northwestern jog out of that. You see the computer models here, so it's going to move to the northwest. That could bring in some extra rain into Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. I'll show you that with the tropical computer model in just a second, and then whatever is left of the system, it'll move to the west. And the short-term conditions are conducive for development. But later on, as this gets near Jamaica, even south of the Cayman Islands, watching you in the Cayman Islands, conditions are less conducive for development. There'll be higher wind shear. That's a good thing. So if it develops in the short term, there is a scenario where it could actually weaken as it moves a little bit closer to Belize, Honduras, and Nicaragua. So let's get to that right now. Here's your time frame, top left-hand corner of your screen. Here's the rain. A lot of it off the coast. I'm watching all our islands, big and small. I cover everyone on this channel. That's why I do this. So we're going to see some rounds of rain. We could see that anywhere from Antigua and Barbuda south through Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica. I may see some rain and storms, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But the main batch by tomorrow, this is noon tomorrow near Puerto Rico and approaching the Dominican Republic. Also the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, and still some rain over toward Trinidad and Tobago. Grenada, we may be seeing some rain. That's going to continue. Guyana, Suriname, watching that, but that's not tied to the main system. Now look at this. This is Monday afternoon. This model's not showing an organized system. It's still showing that rain pumping into our southern zones, but the system would be somewhere near Haiti, south of Haiti, and then kind of moving to the west. This is when it could get caught up in some wind shear and not fully develop. So let me take you out in time further. Let's stop the clock here. This is by the time we get into the middle of the week. This is on Wednesday, and you see the buildup of rain in the Western Caribbean. So whatever this system is, and it could become a named system. That is still a possibility, but whatever it is will move off to the west. And you see a little extra moisture building in the southern, kind of southwestern Caribbean, just north of Colombia. I'm going to monitor that. I'll get into that in a second. And still some rain. Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago, and Guyana. Now let's stop it here. This is by Thursday. This system, whatever it is, will try to work its way toward Belize, Honduras, and Nicaragua. But there's a couple areas then we need to watch. If it doesn't develop, then we need to watch out for additional development with some new areas of low pressure. One may develop just north of Panama and Costa Rica and jog to the north. Another area of low pressure, and low pressure, fancy name for a developing storm system, that'll also develop just off to the east of Trinidad and Tobago. So point being, it's still a wait and see. I don't know how much this system's going to develop, but down the road there could be more development next week. But either way, that just means it's an active period. I promise I'm on top of this for you. Now, where this invest may go this weekend, it'll be close to Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, British Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands, watching over towards St. Martin, for example, St. Croix, for that higher potential of rain. It doesn't look like it's going to move all the way to the north, as I mentioned, northwest and then off to the west, but that'll bring us some extra rain. I'll watch out for the flood potential. Then next week, it's going to head toward Belize and Honduras in particular. What is it at that point? I'm not sure. Most of the models have it either a weak system, tropical depression, could be a tropical storm, or just an unorganized system. But either way, next week, higher rain will shift into the Western Caribbean. So I got you covered as well in the Western Caribbean by the time we get into the middle of next week. And if it develops, we have time to watch it, and I'll be able to give you kind of that advanced heads up on what we may get down the road. So as far as rain goes, that's an immediate concern through Tuesday. Hopefully a lot of the flooding rain stays over the water, but it's going to be very close. You see that bright spot south of Puerto Rico there? That's upwards of 150 millimeters. That could be half a foot of rain, so hopefully that stays offshore. That's way too much. But the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, as I mentioned, on the edge of the Dominican Republic and on the edge of Haiti, say over toward Jacmel, we need to monitor just how close some of that flooding rain will get. So if this system does get a name, it'll be Lisa. If it gets a name at any point this weekend, I'm going to give you another update. But I'm, of course, going to have an update for you as well tomorrow to give you everything. So thank you for sharing this channel. I'll monitor the flooding, the potential of development. Thank you for building this weather community. I hope you have a good Saturday.